now, but that typhoon is right on its way. It looks like we're going to get smashed tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We'll see. I haven't checked the weather in a while, but it looks bad. It looks big.
Yeah, it was the first time in, like 2 months since I saw a lot of coworkers, and they were doing their summer camp when the typhoons hit, and now we got a third one that comes in, and
well, they're all just coasting past the coast. They're all just skimming under Taiwan. So no,
Right.
these past two, and then the first one under Taiwan, the third one over Taiwan. This one's coming under as well.
I mean, typhoons love to be on the ocean, and I've never actually been here when one went right over Taiwan.
Oh, that's what Morakot did back in the 2013, 2017,
I was here then.
Yeah, that Morakot smashed right into the right dead center, bisected the island.
That maybe that fucking one that destroyed fucking Taichung that I have on my phone.
Yeah.
That
it was a
Facebook
big one.
reminds me of every year. Perhaps. Hey,
That
we're
was
online, buddy.
Are we on the internets?
We are.
Right on. What are the internets?
Well, we'll talk about that in another podcast.
Okay. Welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons & Dragons. I am Ben and Gaoshan.
I am Tim and Taichung.
And we're Critters in Taiwan.
Yes, we are. Hey, folks, we're going to be fucking speedy tonight because Ben's got some shit he's got to do, and that's all there is about it.
Yeah. And it's episode number 70. Traditionally, episode number 70 is always a short one.
As it goes.
As it goes.
The one after 69, as opposed to the last campaign, where it was a pretty heavy episode.
Ooh, yeah. 70 was a bitter, sad episode from campaign 2. A lot of sadness and grump.
Yeah.
But this one is campaign 3, episode number 70, Embattled in Bassuras.
Hey, right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man.
Basically the whole episode.
The combat, I wrote it down.
Yeah.
The combat started at exactly the 1 hour mark, thereabouts, because he brought the map out a little prematurely. Yeah, well, he brought the map out, and then they did some like futtering around, trying to figure out placement stuff, and then he did the amazing, which we'll talk about later. He did the little fun thing to start initiative, and then it went right until the last. How do you want to do that? Was 3 hours 20 minutes. So it's about a 2 hour 20-minute combat.
You might be the first person in history to say, "How do you want to do that?"
Oh yeah, did I?
Yeah, you just did.
I did. Cool.
Yeah.
How do you want to do that?
Yeah, man. So like, I was a little occupied this weekend, so like I listened to the whole thing, and then I was like, all right, so the first half is battle. I'll let Ben take care of that because you really love your battle. I love the RP, so I'll let that balance work itself out.
It'll be a good balance.
So I really paid attention to the second half. I watched it twice, and I got some fucking things here, even a theory, which is something that I usually don't do.
That's a rarity. Hey, listen, I've only got in all honesty, I only have a couple of fun things to say about the combat because it was a pretty straightforward combat. Okay. There were I have a couple of things that we can talk about, but shall we get into it?
Yeah, sure. Can I?
Want to have a quick little chat about the we're off next week, by the way, because of Candela Obscura Chapter 2, which I definitely will be watching, even though I didn't like the first one. And I gave it a chance, but I didn't finish it. This one is it's let me just say real quick. Spencer, forgive me, I forget his last name. Spencer will be the GM at this one. He's one of the creators of the game, right?
Yeah, he's the designer of the set as well.
Right. So I'm kind of excited to see another GM in that seat, running this new game. And it's Brendan Lee Mulligan and Louise, whatever his name is, the Xerxes.
Yeah.
From Exandria. I'm terrible with names.
Lacey's back there masturbating while we're talking.
She's doing her thing, man. Leave her alone. She's got Barry White going on in the background.
You gotta do. She's wearing headphones.
Yep. So it's going to be a good cast. We got Marisha. No, Marisha's not in. Is Marisha in this?
She's in there.
Travis is in it. Marisha's
according
in this.
to the ad they had. Yeah.
Sure. I'm excited about it. I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
Definitely going to watch it.
You're sweetening the deal. To see somebody who designed the set, they must be invested in the whole thing.
I'm going away this weekend, so I will not have time to watch it this weekend. But it might be a thing that I do next week.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, but hey, we're off next week, so we got time.
Yes, that's right. I got time to do stuff.
Yeah, we got time, so no rush on that one.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. So hey, let's get it. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to quickly bring up with you was that fun little wired top Google search thing that they did today.
That was nice. It just
was
popped up on my fucking
real friendly.
YouTube.
Yeah, popped up on mine too, and I was like, "What's this now?" Oh, okay, I got 20 minutes to watch some fun.
Yeah,
Fun.
It was
Eyebrows. Does Critical Role eyebrows?
It was kind of a nice little glimpse into people who are not well versed in the show, like what questions they might ask,
Oh, for sure.
And then curiously, Ashley was not there because I'm guessing
curious.
most of the Google questions are something that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah, that's a fun thing to think about, but then you think that, well, why would they do that to her? They would never do that to anybody. That they would walk off. The whole cast would walk off the set if you did that.
Right.
But then the problem becomes that if they don't do that, then people are assholes on the internet and be like, why didn't you ask her the tough questions? Because people are assholes. So it's, in all honesty, it's better that she backs out because the internet sucks and we can't have nice things.
Right. Yeah. But they kept in a question like, what happened to Taliesin?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's his hand.
I've known
shakes.
many people who have the shakes that are not like drug users, etc. They're just people that have the shakes at like 30 years old.
I don't think they're thinking drugs. I think they're just thinking like, what happened to him? Why is he like that? Why is he 1,000 years old? What's going on? What happened to Taliesin?
It's a very broad question for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun one. Hey, I got a math rock. You ready to go?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. There we go. Okay, yeah. Let's get some rollies. Let's do this.
Clickety clackety go.
We're mad fast today, y'all.
9.
13. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this one. We're blasting through these things in no particular order. Ben, I'm gonna use this one as my first one, which is what I had planned, and I'm glad I won this roll first.
Sweet.
Was because
Serendipitous.
Yep. Hey, well, no, maybe my die is weighed on the 13. Who knows? This whole thing with the sending message, telepathy, whatever else there is where you can communicate with somebody without them being right next to each other, I didn't hear what you just said there.
Lots of eyebrows.
Lots of eyebrows, like Laura, who only gave us one this morning. What's going on? Now all of a sudden we just send messages and they're also responding and shit?
Who's sending messages?
Well, I mean, I'm sure FCG did something at some point. Laudna, that like all the whispers and shit came back in.
Yes.
And then like with
messages,
with Imogen, she was like, I'm gonna connect with the person and telepathically talk to them. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't count.
Nope.
But all of a sudden we're just like getting these wonderful Laudna, like
Laudna doesn't have sending. She has the message cantrip.
Now, this is kind of in line with what we had some wonderful comments from somebody named Intoxicated Conqueror.
Oh, yes.
In our 2 episodes prior. He said that like Ben knows a lot, Tim knows nothing, and he identified with me but loved your input because you're so knowledgeable, and I'm just like him where we love it but we don't know much. So what are the differences between these fucking spells, and why do some of them work, and why are they working all of a sudden?
Message is a cantrip, if you remember from campaign 2.
Yeah.
With Not the Brave, and I pulled the wire. But you have to be able to, you point in a direction of where they are. You don't have to be able to see them.
They let that go. Yeah.
120 feet. Yeah, well, they didn't. When they were in the city of beasts, there were some problems there because they ran around in when Bo was finding Dyron and they couldn't see, and then Not was sending a bunch of messages that weren't working. That's the message cantrip. Right. It's been working since the beginning. It's always worked. It's never not worked. It's sending. That's the one that Jester made famous for using all 25 words that can travel across planes. So
keep going. I'm listening. I can hear you. I just gotta change my lighting. It's weird.
Sure, no problem. Sending is much like teleport. I think what's going on is, and this is my theory, and it's maybe some others. Hey, that's good lighting. Yeah. Maybe some others out there. is that it spells like plane shift, teleport, sending, that cut across planes that are the ones that are locked out right now. If you think about it, like teleport, there was a big chance of failure on this one. There's a chance for teleport of failure anyway, but a much more bigger chance, it seems like. But yet Keyleth's tree...
Sorry, not Keyleth.
Timothée Chalamet. What is that spell called? The tree, not tree stride. It's tree...
transport via plants.
Yeah. Yes. That one, no problem. Because it only goes in Exandria. It can't go to somewhere... Now, that's where it gets weird, because presumably there aren't... Like, you can't use that spell into the Fey realm, I don't think. No, yes, you can.
I was going to say, didn't
Hang
they
on,
do
wait
that?
a minute. Yes, you can. We did do that. Interesting.
Hold on a second. Maybe they didn't. Didn't they use a thing to go there?
No. They used the druid in Dressar to get there. To get to the Feywild, to go originally. Yeah, they did. So that theory is completely done. Huh. Okay, I don't know.
I'm still iffy on that one.
Yeah, sending doesn't work. Message cantrip does. It always has.
We know about the scrying, right? Scrying doesn't go interplanal, right? Because that's why, like, there was at one point... Shit, it just happened in the last few episodes or something like that. Someone was like, oh, I'm going to try to scry on this person, but it doesn't work interplanal.
I don't know. That's a question. See, these little details. I never use spells like that in D&D, so I have no idea. Scrying 5E. I can Google this real quick. Same plane of existence. There we go. Yes. So
okay.
Scrying only works on the same plane of existence.
That's so fast.
Teleport.
It's crazy what these things can do,
yeah.
man.
I know, it's wild, eh? So yeah. Sending, no. But you're right. Imogen seems to be able to do it when they're close. And they kind of alluded to this a few episodes ago. When you're close, it's not that big of a deal. It's when it gets farther away, it becomes a problem. So message cantrip is only 120 feet, so it's totally fine. And that's what they were doing in that combat, in the beginning of the combat.
And yeah, they didn't really try it much when they were like when the solstice flash happened. They're with each other. They only tried, but those people were really far away.
Yeah, well, Matt's
but
also...
even then, didn't they try to communicate even when they were still in the split party, and it still didn't quite work?
That's right, because the distance was presumably the distance being too great at that point.
In the same part, like in the same group of the split party. I mean, like, you know, there's the Isocross, the Isilra team, and then there's the Voldemort team.
Yes, and that's still too far. I think the point is that if you're not within a few hundred feet...
Not between them. I mean, among them. Among themselves. Like this group here.
I don't think they ever tried sending.
I thought they did, and I think that... maybe I'm mistaken, and that's why I'm a little confused here. Because it's now just happening just like without a fucking problem now, and I'm like, what's going on, bro?
Got me.
There's no D100 rolls, you know?
I think it's distance. I think that there's maybe other things behind that are in play, behind the scenes that are in play.
And
that's my best guess.
Closer to the ground zero or something, you know? I don't know, man. These are the questions I have that I like to, you know, push your way. Because, you know, I don't know the difference between message, sending.
Well, you know. sending is 25 words, and it's a spell. It's a 3rd level spell, I believe. And it's cross planes. It goes basically anywhere. You just have to know the person.
And if it's a race, or they don't say race, they say species now, right?
I don't know.
Whatever they say. If it's a species trait instead of a spell, then it might work differently or something.
It's a class. It can be a class. Like Imogen gets it free. She doesn't cost her spell slots. Her class gets it.
Just who she is.
Because the sorcerer, the type of sorcerer, the aberrant mind, abhorrent, whatever it is. The abhorrent
like we abhor
mind.
Sleeves. She's the abhorrent mind.
Abhorrent mind sorcerer.
She
hates They get it. I think they get at a certain level. They just get sending at will. I think at 3rd level or something like that. 4th level, 5th level, somewhere around there.
Huh.
Or maybe they always do. I forget. Or when they're able to cast it, I guess that 3rd level spell, they get it free. It doesn't cost spell slots.
I guess it just kind of threw me off because, like, you know, Laudna just sent this out, and then everybody else in the cast was just like they started doing the same.
Right.
They started doing the same
that's
shit.
Message. That's message cantrip. That's something completely different, and it's always worked.
Okay, we didn't see it when the party was split because
Right. They didn't use it.
Okay, so we're not breaching any rules here.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
so.
All
There's a couple. There's rules we're not clear on yet, but I
Sure.
think that's obvious because there are a lot of things that are going on. Like why doesn't sending work? Why don't these other ones work? We don't know why.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
What do you
Okay. Well, hey, I'm satisfied with that. What you
Okay.
got?
I'm just gonna go and
We've got
jump.
less than 30 minutes left.
Done.
Let's go.
I'm going to go into I just have a really, really big 3-star note here that says this is the first time in a long time Matt has run intelligent combatants, intelligent NPCs.
Yeah.
They were sneak attacking. They were making tactical decisions.
They had monks. They had,
Listen, if FCG doesn't do that banishment, which all DMs out there, the banishment is broken. It doesn't make sense. It should be. It's a problem. If FCG doesn't do banishment on Ratanish, they are in way bigger trouble in this battle. Chetney's probably taken out right off the hop, and then maybe somebody else after
Ashton
that.
was saying, should we just run away?
Yeah.
And then I think the next turn, FCG
banishes.
was like, I want to try banishment, which is
So
charisma based for
running-
him, and Ratanish is a barbarian.
Barbarian. So charisma's
So
an upside.
charisma's like that's pretty easy to do with a DC 15, I believe.
Yeah.
That's
and
a pretty
he's
easy
got like a
toss
-2,
out, which happened twice, right?
Yeah, I've got a. Yeah,
If you didn't
I've got
know,
a-
everybody,
I don't- it
spoilers
doesn't-
across the board, but we're going fast here.
Why? I have another question right behind that. Why does Ratanish have a negative charisma modifier? Why?
Because charisma's below 10.
Yeah, but he's a leader of a fucking troop.
Sorry.
He's not a big bad, but he is a second in command to Odahan Thule. He's a General Ratanish. He is presumably. It seems like it's just a question I had right off. I'm like, why? Why would somebody like that have a negative charisma modifier? It doesn't
Or
actually make.
Maybe the other way
sense.
around. Why would somebody with a low charisma stat have that stature? But
Right.
also look at
Either or.
Grog.
Yeah.
When it comes to rolling shit, his charisma wasn't that high, but his intelligence
His
was rather,
intelligence was the dump stat. Yeah.
like he might say something smart, but when it came to rolling for something, it doesn't matter. So like you
That's
could
right.
say all you want, and people would be like, "You're full of shit," if they had to roll for it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I just sort of feel like this. There was, it was really, really fun combat. I was really excited about this being a really challenging one. And then there's a thing. I'm just going to rapid fire into this.
Go for it,
because
man.
then right after that, as soon as Ratanish gets banished, they were scared up till that point. Like Travis
As soon
had
as
this
Ratanish arrived, they were
serious
terrified.
look of worry. He was fucked up bad.
At the table,
and then at the table he looks worried. Everyone, and then that's when Talos is like, maybe we should run. And then they're all like, oh fuck, what do we do? FCG comes in, and Matt, you could see in Matt's look, he was sort of like that little bit of a smile curling at the lip. As soon as he fails that, within about a minute after that failed banishment save, it completely 180'd. Matt had the resigned look on his face, and the PCs were all smiling and laughing, and that's when the jokes started cracking out. The whole vibe at the table shifted.
Didn't see that. It was in my
And
pocket.
then we get about probably about 15, 20 minutes after that, when the druid, the caster, suddenly realizes that this fight is over. There's a little bit of, I think, and I hesitate to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway, some DM shenanigans here.
Uh-oh.
The druid bonus action wild shapes. It's fine. Then he picks up 2 people. Then he flies. Then he moves. They're using the action. That's 4 things.
Wait, hold on. Oh, okay. I mean, moving is separate from actions.
Yes. So let me go through that again. The druid bonus action wild shapes into a giant eagle.
Okay.
Then grabs 2 people, unwilling 2 of them.
2 people.
Restrained, yes, but still 2. Imaharajo and Vera the Viper.
I mean, at that point, turn is over except for movement.
Unwilling, then flies, and yes, flies at like half speed because it's carrying 2 people, and then flies again as an action, using
What do
the
you mean
action.
flies again?
Yeah, it's all there. It's all in this thing. Taliesin challenges him on it. He's like, yeah, but wouldn't it be like to at least like to pick up those 2 to do so? Taliesin sort of like, what? But wouldn't it be because back in campaign 2 when they rapid fire would change it to giant eagle all the time to get, especially when they were in Isocross, when we went through the ice and things like that. Matt was always like, yeah, pick them up as an action, pick somebody up, pick 2 people up. That's okay. That's an action still, but it's an action definitely.
I guess with
And
2
then
talons.
so Taliesin sort of challenges him on it, and Matt's like,
Taliesin?
no. Matt sort of says, yeah. Matt sort of says, well, no, it's difficult terrain because he had to go through the door, so it's half speed. And I just sort of went, but that's not what he said, and it feels like this is a little bit of you as a human, upset, not a flawless god as we sometimes view him as. Like a somewhat flawed human, maybe a little bit upset because the banishment of your general, and that you wanted that to be a much more difficult battle, which it was going that way until that. Anyway, what I'm saying is Matt could have avoided all of this if Britannish didn't have a negative charisma modifier, if he was an actual charming leader, or just a force of charisma. Doesn't have to be charming. Charisma can be force of presence.
Yeah.
If he was a forceful,
Which could be powerful,
presence, powerful, even if he rules by fear, that's still forceful presence. Have a +2 or 3 on the charisma bonus. And maybe because he's a general, he gets legendary actions or legendary resistances, maybe just 1 or 2. But maybe he gets a couple, and he gets to shrug that off.
Well, isn't this where
it was just really, sorry to keep going. It's a bit of a mental note for me, learning, and I'm seeing these. I say this every episode. I'm like, I'm learning stuff. I'm always learning stuff, and I see that, and I'm like, that's a learning experience, because maybe in that moment you should just fucking make shit up. You're like, you didn't give him any legendary resistances, but in that moment you don't want your general off the battlefield. Hey guys, guess what? In that moment, he clutches his symbol of the Dusk Maven. You see under his clothing the little brand of the Dusk Maven glow, and he shrugs off your banishment spell, FCG. Like that kind of a thing. Like that would be pretty fucking epic to watch that happen.
It would, but if there's no dice roll for it,
so
the DM can do whatever the DM wants.
He's not the big bad, but he is a big bad.
Yeah.
So
I think it worked out okay. I mean, upon watching it, I didn't feel like Matthew was super upset that Rotanish was vanquished.
No,
and
but I
one
think
other
there was-
person too that he did the death save rolls for. Also,
yeah,
that
was the druid. That was the druid when he fell he fell down.
And everybody's like,
that
"Oh
was
shit!" Now we have nobody to ask questions to.
Yeah, that was the amazing that MVP moment of Ashton with his fucking what is it called? Violent Gateway. Woo!
Oh,
what
yeah.
What a cool move that was.
And the other thing he did was the hyper rage.
Yeah, the hyper rage to finish off.
I've never heard of
damage.
this.
He did that one before. That's the one where he's blurry. He blurs a little bit. He's phasing in and out.
Is that just the name of one of his 4 rages?
Name of one of the rages.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's got the time rage, the gravity rage,
gravity hyper, and then this teleport one, whatever. Dunamancy. They're all Dunamancy adjacent, right?
I'm gonna cross that one right out then. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, the hyper rage he's done before. He's called it the blue shift. He's a little bit of a blue shift. You see me shifting a little blue and red. Yeah. You kind of like 3D glasses sort of vision.
Exactly. They were saying if I wore 3D glasses,
would you be 3D? Yeah. So that kind of a thing. Yeah, it was cool. I like that. What was Matt's comment? The pull the soft bread out of the sub.
Yeah, the images that he invoked from that, like I've been at Subway whenever with a friend, they're just like they just tear the bread away instead of fucking cut it,
Yep.
and they're just like, look at this bread, man, it sticks together like mozzarella. And I'm like, yeah, that's not healthy. I'll take two. No rollies quite yet. Hold on.
Okay.
With the low charisma, which is something we've seen a number of times with this with Critical Role, is that like, okay, you can use either persuasion with charisma or intimidation with strength or
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
Now this is where
That's homebrew. That's all
Britannish
homebrew
can,
stuff.
like with a low charisma,
Yes.
you can still persuade people with intimidation.
100%. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't persuade them. You intimidate them. You're like, okay, I guess I'll do that because otherwise you're going to kill me and my. This is the Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un thing. This is a North Korea playbook where it's just like, no, if you don't do what I say, I will not only remove you from the existence, I will remove everybody in your family.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
No charisma, but
No
100%
charisma.
power.
Pure
if that was a
power
stat.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And like if they go into battle, like if they're kind of by themselves, which is kind of what it seemed to be. I mean, like I think it was organic, just
Yeah,
like I'm going to
maybe.
banish this because this person is terrifying.
FCG
didn't know that it was going to be charisma based.
No, it's he knows his charisma base. He doesn't know that Britannish has a negative score. But there
how
is
high
a
is his
thing.
charisma?
What
How high is their charisma?
FCG?
FCG, yeah.
No. The DC is a charisma DC.
Right.
So the spell is the targets the spell goes after the target's charisma.
Right, yeah. But it's also the DC that they have to meet is higher based on FCG's charisma.
No, his wisdom. He's a cleric, so his spell modifier is wisdom.
So that wasn't a charisma save?
It was a charisma save based on FCG's DC, which is determined by his wisdom modifier.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Ben.
D&D, man. Come on.
I figured that, like, if it was a charisma save, it must be based on FCG's charisma.
Every spell is different. They target different stats. Like, telekinesis is a spell that Imogen uses, and it targets it targets strength stat. And then fireball
power of it is based
fireball
on her
is dexterity.
Stats.
Fireball targets dexterity.
We're talking over each other. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. We're on the same page now. So different spells that target different ability scores. They're based on the DC is based on the caster's spell attack modifier.
I think now I need to go back and watch Campaign 2 again, knowing this. Because this is the first I'm hearing of this.
It would make a bit more sense.
I get
this
it.
This is why beginners don't play casters, because it is slightly more complicated. Man. A new player to D&D should be playing a martial class, bit a monk, even a rogue, but not a caster. Monk.
Get the monk out of the
Canadians coming out of me, eh?
Intoxicated Conqueror. I'm here for you, buddy. I also don't know shit.
Yeah. I'm like in the middle of the road. I know some stuff, but not a lot.
You know a hell of a lot more than I do, dude.
I've been playing it a lot longer than you. That's all. It's just experience.
All right, let's do this. With a 9. All right, I'm 2 for 2. Okay. Since we're going quick, I'm going to get the big ones out of the way real quick. I have a theory, Ben.
Okay, what's this theory, Tim?
I have a theory. And I bet you have the same theory too.
Probably.
Because it was kind of obvious when he started saying it. The first time I started thinking about it was it was Ashton and Imogen down there talking to the pus mound with bones around it and shit, you know.
I got all kinds of theories about what that thing is.
This pussy mess. Let's see what you think about this little theory here.
Go.
It's not a complete theory, it's just kind of this is what an idea I have here. The thing that sprung it off for me was when they were sitting there and they I don't even remember if they were talking to the pus mound itself or another person. I think it was a pus mound. I don't remember. I don't know who was around at the time.
There's only 3 of them there. It was Justy, Ashton, and Imogen.
With the pus mound, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so at one point there were like other people in the area,
Yeah,
And
when they were upstairs at the All Minds Burn, they were upstairs. Then they went down. He took the two of them down, so the three of them went down into the deep, deep, deep basement, which is where the hive mind was.
Okay. And at one point, somebody said something that was like slightly humorous to the thing. And then Matthew said, and his words were specific. I don't remember exactly what he said, but they were specifically like, and in unison, everybody chuckles at the same time as this thing.
That was up a little bit. That was when they were
There were
upstairs.
people around. There were beings around.
Yeah, that's before they went down. Before they went down. Yeah.
That chuckled at the same time as
that was
whatever
when
else was there.
that was the confrontation with the Sally.
Okay.
That was when Ashton and Sally were having their little tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
And then he said something funny, or she said something funny, and everybody chuckled at it. And yes, everybody at that. So they're all in the All Minds Burn. They're all linked together.
Yeah.
They're right.
And
Like, did you make that connection about the All Minds Burn? The burn part, how they all smoke that shit together. They're smoking the residue of the pus spot mound, whatever you're calling it. They're smoking that shit, and then because Ashton at one point near the end, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about that." He's been smoking that shit.
I think
That's
that was
the
after
burn
he said,
part.
and we'll pick up next week.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
2 weeks, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not with the
I
smoking
didn't pick up
part.
on that. I didn't pick up on that until right then. I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Well,
that's why it's called All Minds Burn, because they fucking burn the All Mind, and then they get
I
telepathic
didn't
powers.
get that connection at all. I didn't know it was called All Minds Burned.
That's what the place is called. Yeah, All Minds Burn.
Oh, well, that makes some sense.
Yeah, weird.
But
Weird.
the little connection theory thing that I had here was like immediately, as soon as I heard, or as soon as they said like, oh, and Matthew's choice of words was not exactly what I'm saying, but they laugh in unison at in response to that.
Yes.
And my mind went directly towards Isocross, Aor, to the living city.
You're not the only one. I read that a bunch on
obvious,
the socials.
right?
Yeah, it's the Cognosa ward thing and the Eyes of Nine,
that's the word I was
the
forgetting.
Lucian, all of that. Yeah. The Nonagon. It all was very, very, very similar.
Okay.
I think it's kind of thematic in D&D though. I don't think it is that. And I think I'm not the only one to saying this. Everyone's like, this is a thing that happens in D&D. I wrote down a whole bunch of them. We've got these elder brains. Elder brain. This is not
I have
an
a
elder
counterpoint
brain.
to this.
They could be myconid. These could be the fungus people. It could be an oblex, a reskinned oblex. Oblex is a way back in like 2 or 3.5 or something D&D. They're created by Illithids, by the mind flayers, which are all they're all telepathic races that communicate this way, and they're all Borg. We are Borg. We are one. It's that whole sort of a thing where it's just one giant mind doing things together.
Yeah, the collective.
So
and Mass Effect, they called it I forgot what they called it. The Geth had it, where it's like
right.
They all have the same thoughts at the same time. Yeah.
That's right. Mass Effect, one of the few games I've actually ever played.
It's
and
fucking
2.
phenomenal if you haven't.
Yeah, it was
played
amazing. It was such a good game.
Yeah,
and both of them, Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2,
and 3. Oh, both of them. What? What about Andromeda?
There was a third one.
Anyway,
I don't play games anymore.
Now, what I was thinking, okay, that part I felt was fairly obvious, right?
Yep.
But then also because some time has passed since they went to this this area and all that shit happened and like I'm not gonna spoil too much because I don't need to. The reason that this motherfucker was a little bit pussy and also a little bit kind of dry pus, but still meat and potatoes, but also some bones and shit like that, was because that shit took some damage. And what happens if you cut yourself and it's not treated, it might get a little infected.
Yeah, sure.
And that's kind of like a piece of this that's happening here. Now, it's very far away from where that shit happened. However, I don't know how that shit might have gotten there. I don't know any history about this. But that's where my mind went. So I went, hey, I'm going to be a theorist now. And I'm going to say this is a wounded part of that area that someone tried to salvage. And then it turns into these people having a collective mind.
Fucking cats. It did say when Imogen was looking through its mind how old
are you?
Are you?
Shoot me down?
Yeah, well, Imogen, no, not at all, not at all, because it still could be. When it was saying, like, Imogen was like, "How old are you?" and Matt was like, "You get images of hundreds of years have gone by and all of these different things," but they were very unspecific. It doesn't really matter. So it's totally possible that it is
in time went all over the place. Yeah,
100%.
That was awesome. Yeah,
totally. So yes, maybe. I'm definitely not shooting you down. I'm like, yeah, there was an age of hundreds of years confirmed there, which tracks with the Cognosivore being part of Aor that out into the astral sea.
He said beyond hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah.
More
so who
than
knows?
Perhaps.
I was looking at it as like maybe like a bunch of, I don't even know. The funniest thing that I saw in that, which I actually literally wrote down, was, look, this will make you laugh, because I wrote this down on Sunday before I watched the Wired thing.
Let's see 6 minutes, bud.
There, right there. What does that say?
Gives Imogen the brood pit. Nope. To the island of Slival to meet.
No. This one.
Liam's face.
Eyebrows.
You even drew a picture.
Liam's face with the eyebrows, because when they were doing that whole thing and the brood pit comes out, Liam just went,
"Oh yeah, that slimy motherfucker." Yeah.
He just
I didn't see that.
And he was doing his famous little rabbit scrunch where he's like
where his nose was going.
Yeah, and I was watching it and I was like, oh, Liam does not like any of this at all, because he's like, this is sus as hell, man. Like, you can see it. You know the gamer in him is just like, fuck, I wish I was there. So he's trying to, like, he's trying to get it. He's like, when Imogen brings this up, what is Orem gonna say to all of this? That's what's going through his mind, right? He's trying to get himself ready for Orem's reaction for all of that. Yeah, so I was just like, oh, look at the eyebrows. There's that furrowed brow, that famous furrow. And then this morning when it was all eyebrows in that Wired piece, I was just like, bingo. Anyway,
they only asked Laura to do it.
I'm going to really quickly end this one, if that's cool.
Yeah, go for it. Hey.
When they're fixing the funnel harness thing, and they're Imahar, Joe, Vera, and Dancer are fixing it, maybe 2 weeks, maybe less, they don't really know. Imahar Joe says something really, really interesting. Imahar Joe, this is what I wrote down, I'm paraphrasing, says it would likely kill the source, the creature, if it was normal, unless it was maybe an archfey or something more powerful, or a location or something much larger.
Right. Yes.
Predathos. Yes? Like, that's what they're talking about.
I didn't think of that.
Imogen wears this fucking thing, and like immediately Vera the Viper goes, although the alterations might be possible. Like this weird little, we might be able to do something to make it even better or stronger or different. And I'm like, well, this is the fucking nuke that takes out Predathos. And this is what infuses Imogen. Imogen wears it, lays into Predathos. This is a Vecna moment where Scanlan's reading the book and they're inserting the trammels, and then they're fighting and it takes multiple rounds. This is like the funnel, the harness is gonna be sucking Predathos' life force while they're fighting all of the minions of Predathos, while Predathos is trying to eat gods. And this is that's where my brain went. Big finale for campaign 3, and then it fails and Exandria blows up.
And if it succeeds, we got to worry about Imogen.
Woo! She's the one god.
I mean,
yeah. Remember the Matrix when Neo becomes, he does his Jesus moment at the very end? That's what I see.
I saw the first 2 movies. Are you talking about the third?
The third one, yeah.
I didn't see that one.
That's a good one.
The
second one's all action. Meh. The third one was fun because
I think that's why they lost me. Second one had no substance, I felt.
Yeah, it was all just superhero shit. Hey, listen, I'm about to wrap this up because I gotta head out.
All right, it's 9:22.
We're going to the Shattered Teeth. We're going to the Shattered Teeth. I'm excited about that. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. Yeah, no more rollies. I'm gonna save these points because I do want to talk about them, but we'll say that in 2 weeks.
Sure.
Yeah, they're right there. Yeah,
they're good to save for 2 weeks?
One of them, yes.
Do the
Yeah,
other
both
one-
of them,
do the
yes.
other one-
They're both evergreen. Yeah. they're
Okay,
both
cool.
Evergreen.
Then hang on to them, and we'll do them in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll give them to next week. Yeah, sorry, folks.
Cool.
We gotta end early.
Yep.
Certain
Prior
things
engagements.
happen, certain parts of the country, certain parts
Yep.
of the world. Hey,
Yep.
we gotta do what we gotta do. But yeah, you gotta get out of here in a moment.
Yeah. My alarm is beeping already, so I gotta bail.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, let's wrap it up then. Y'all get in touch down there. Comments is the best way to do it. Follow him on all the socials. Ben Greenspoon. Follow me on Instagram. Drummatucka.
I think it's up in that corner.
We got lots of shows coming around. We're going to be playing all over Taiwan. So get in touch. I'm going to post all that shit. Look at Lacey Girl right there. She's beautiful. She's amazing. And if nothing else,
All good.
don't forget to love each other. And is it the next Friday yet? Peace, everybody. Thanks for bearing
Love
with
y'all.
us.